Before we get into the show, I got a dunce cap, a little bit of a badge of shame. Right now we are in a world pandemic, and it's hitting the United States kind of hard. I'm not going to go into why, and I'd appreciate it if nobody else did in the comments. But Total Wine and More, one of the biggest retailers of alcoholic beverages in the United States, gave, because of increased risk, they gave a slight raise to their staff, and which is great. And then, for no apparent reason whatsoever, like, oh, we don't know how long this is going to last. They just take it away. Not cool, Total Wine and More. Everybody associated with Total Wine and More, including the congressman, what are you doing? Take care of your people. So I've never done this before. We try and keep politics out of this show as much as possible, but shame on you, Total Wine and More. Shame on you. On with the show. All right, so this week I'm reviewing Wild Turkey straight bourbon, and yes, and for those who are wondering, I've heard from several talk shows that it increases your views if you have a dog in your show. So this is my dog. This right here is Awesome the Dog. If you're on Facebook, you can just go to Awesome the Dog, facebook.com/Awesome the Dog, and follow her. She's always talking smack about her humans, and she's a sassy little brat, spoiled rotten. Nobody's fluffed her pillows today. It's awful, but we're going to move that back there. Maybe. There we go. So the thing with Wild Turkey, and I may have to do a Wild Turkey series, because Wild Turkey is a brand that has, because of maybe past mistakes, has a really bad reputation. And their products are much better than their reputation. And so, especially if you get into their higher end product, you get a lot of bang for your buck. There's a exponential increase in quality with their product. Now, this is an expression that the whiskey in and of itself, if you just blindly compare this whiskey to a lot of other bourbons, it's okay. It's decent. It's solid. It's a good everyday whiskey, you know. But it just comes across as just decent until you look at the price. And when you look at the price, it suddenly becomes a phenomenal whiskey. It is, as far as bang for your buck goes, this is an extremely good buy. And again, which makes it a great daily whiskey. Definitely serve this to somebody who's not like a major whiskey snob. It's complex enough for a beginner, but it's simple enough for a beginner, but complex enough, I think, for you whiskey snobs out there to enjoy, despite the fact that it's only $20 for a bottle. But it's 81 proof. The master distiller actually has a problem with releasing 80 proof whiskeys. So he finally figured out a mash bill where he could go, okay, fine. I said I would never do 80 proof, so we're gonna do 81 proof. It's got a high mash, a high rye, high amount of rye in the mash bill, which gives it a little bit of bite, probably more of a bite than it should have for being 81 proof. I think I'd rather have, I think a lot of times they will throw rye in there. It's a nice, cheap, easy way to give a whiskey personality when you don't have time to age it for a ton of time, or finish it in a sherry cask, or you know, do all these other different things. There's so many different things you can do to whiskey to give it different complexities. I personally love non-chill filtered whiskeys. Those fatty acids really impress me. But it's got high rye. It is an NAS, no age statement, but it is a straight bourbon, so that means that it has to be at least 2 years. They claim that they age their whiskey a little longer, 5 to 8 years, and that could be why this is actually so good for its price. Those 5 to 8 years really make a difference. I'd love to taste what this whiskey, the same exact whiskey, would be if it was aged, say, 10 to 12 years. I think you would get a definite improvement in quality. Maybe go a little less on the rye. I like rye, but a lot of distilleries are kind of, it's becoming a crutch. The barrel was set on fire for just short of a full minute.
Cool. Fire, 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 fire.
Creating what many call an alligator char inside what would otherwise be a virgin oak. And before this, before I started reading up on this whiskey, I have to admit I'd never heard of an alligator char. And I guess that's, they call it that because it actually looks like alligator skin when they're done. But the alligator char is becoming very popular because it's as much as you, through the different experimentations, it's as much as you want to push the char before the carbon created by the char actually ends up filtering stuff out of the whiskey that you probably want to keep. So it's just that perfect balance. So this has got the alligator char in it, which is probably maybe that could be another reason why it's higher quality than what you would expect from a wild turkey. But yeah, so it's decent. But let's when I yeah, I'm getting kind of some spice on the nose, possibly just a touch of, like, I don't know, maybe nutmeg or clove. Not overpowering, kind of pleasant, a little bit of sweetness. I also learned that the alligator char is what creates the vanilla note. So if you taste a little bit of vanilla in there or smell a little bit of vanilla, that's because of the alligator char, typically. So definitely it's a nice balance between spice and sweetness, which is something you want in a good bourbon. But yeah, so anyways, Dark Helmet, do your thing.
Ludicrous speed.
So I'm being, I think I'm being overshadowed by my dog. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments who you find more entertaining. My whiskey review or my dog being a complete dork. So I really got to say, I think that if I was the master distiller, if I had any say in this, I would up the proof a little bit and just cut back on the rye a little bit. I think with a higher proof, little bit more age, and little less rye. I like the rye, but like I said, I think it's becoming too much of a crutch for a lot of distillers, and I think it's like a lot of things. I think they'll find it's a good ingredient, and they'll go, "Oh, people like that one ingredient," and then they overdo it, and so I think the rye thing, leave that to the Canadians. I think they do a great job.
Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
But this is good. Yeah, 80. I see why the master distiller didn't really want to get down to 80 proof. I think it does sacrifice some things, especially with this expression. But I think that, like I said, I think that for what you pay, I mean, it's $20. It's way better than what the reputation for wild turkey is. And so I highly recommend, this is going to get a high recommend from me, not because it's such a phenomenal whiskey, but I want you guys all to go out and buy yourselves a bottle of, wild turkey straight Kentucky bourbon, and give it a try. And you tell me, I mean, I can think of a few $80 whiskeys. I think I've tried some $100 whiskeys that were at least as good as this. And this is better than some $80 and $100 whiskeys. So this is getting, for me, this is a super high recommend. Yeah, I'm thinking we might have to do a wild turkey series sometime soon. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments. And for those who are social gamers, or I should say I, am doing a on Raid Shadow Legends. They are not a sponsor because not because we're too cool for school for having sponsors. We just aren't cool enough to have sponsors.
There's nothing uncool about healthy teeth and bones.
So they are not a sponsor. I just enjoy playing the game. But you can look for my clan called Zalord's Guard. I know, shocker. I'm naming it after something from the Dresden Files books. I think I've talked about the Dresden Files books on this show quite often. My name in the clan and on the game is General Toot, which is a character, the head of the Zalord's Guard. Yeah, we go in, we play the game, we have fun. It's not real hardcore, but I go live every day at 4 p.m. Pacific, and I do like a live tutorial. I take questions from the chat, from the clan chat. So if you're a member of the clan, I can help you. I can kind of help you out and answer your questions and guide you through. I'm not good at a lot of games, but this one I seem to be learning. So please join us, and you can go to nerdsdrinkwhiskey.com/raid for more information on that. And until then, I will see you next week for another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey. You gonna say goodbye, Awesome? No? You're still mad? Nobody fluffed your pillows? All right.